theme number two. Two. What are we talking about this week? I love that I get a chance to be the one to kick off the theme for each week. It's a heavy responsibility. But this week is going to be really fun. We are going back to like what to do with your stash. Most of you have it. Now, some of you don't, but most of you do, right? And so each day this week, we're going to be talking about things to do with your scraps. I can hardly wait for Sherry and Johnny on Thursday as they talk about organizing your scraps. They gave us a little prelude to it on last week. They're going to have a challenge between each other. I think it's going to be one huge mess. No. I was just looking at their boxes laughing because I have like 10 of those too that are just overflowing, right? That's what I mean by one big mess, like the fabric's everywhere, right? So, so this week we're giving you some ideas of things you can do with your stash. So, as I was thinking about what I wanted to do, yeah, Kathy says it's going to be funny. I'm sure. That's why I can hardly wait. I'm sure it will be hilarious, actually. Oh, and by the way, little side note here. You know how Johnny was giving me a bad time on Friday about the little pin cup? Because he and I keep teasing each other about it. So Thursday, I will be down in Sandy because it's Customer Appreciation Day down in Sandy on Thursday. Friday is Logan. But on Thursday, I'm going to spend a few minutes with Johnny and Sherry, and we're going to talk about the pin cup yet again. So I can hardly wait. He's like my brother. And you know, brothers and sisters can give each other a really hard time. He is totally like my brother. So older, by the way. There you go. All right, guys. So theme number 2. What am I going to be talking about today? Some of you are going to look at me and go, oh no, Kris. No. And others are going to say, oh, I want to try that. So, for what it's worth, let me share with you kind of a fun idea, because this is going to be using any and every scrap that you have as far as like strips. All right. So today we're going to be talking about making your own fabric yarn. What? What are you talking about? Yes, making your own fabric yarn. All right. And no crumb quilt, Jerry. I was this close, Jerry, to doing a crumb quilt. And then I said, oh no, I better not, because I'm going to have Dee on there and I'm going to have Debbie on there and I'm going, yeah. So I'm like, no crumb quilt. No, I promise. But, oh, Johnny's here. He said, just had to get that older in there. He is by 1 year. So we're going to talk about crocheting fabric yarn. Okay. Now, if you've never seen this before, let me give you some ideas for inspiration. All right. Let me bring up my pictures. Okay. So I've got some ideas for inspiration here. So went and got on Pinterest, looked at different things, and you can see there's lots of different ways and things to make with fabric yarn. I love that basket, by the way. I love this little ottoman. How cute is that, right? Look at this cute purse. Very, very fun. Here we go. Again, this is made with fabric, scraps of fabric, if you will. And it's pretty impressive, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so here's some different inspirational pics for you guys. Love that. Ooh, that's so pretty. Now, the thing about making fabric yarn is you can make this as scrappy and stashy and eclectic as you want. All right? There's really no rules. If you want them to be the same colors, go for it. But let me tell you this. If you are wanting to do like, if you're looking for something in a red and you have a Christmas fabric that has red, use it because you don't see a whole lot of the print. You use everything that you have that is in your stash. Melody says she can't crochet. Let me tell you, Melody, I totally get you. And I understand because I have felt that way for a long time. I compare myself to a lot of people out there, crocheters, knitters, whatever, and go, oh, I so wish I could do that. Well, one day I had a friend who taught me some basics. Don't ask me to put together a sweater. Don't ask me to crochet even a basket, but I could crochet a dish rug, a dish scrubber. I can crochet even a rug, like a floor rug. If I can just go straight back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yes, Denise, you can braid it. We're going to talk about that too. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you 3 ways to use your fabric yarn. Okay, so 3 ways to use your fabric yarn today. And I am going to show you first how you cut your fabric yarn. Okay, because that's important too. So let me pull this back a little. Oh, hold please. Okay, I had to grab something. All right, so what you're going to do with your fabric, your stash, your scraps, all the above, is that I want you to either tear or use a rotary cutter and cut it into 1-inch strips, approximately 1, 1.5, 2, doesn't matter, right? And you could even use like denim, which would be cool. All right, where's our hold music? Johnny stole my line. All right, so how you're gonna just, for this sake, I'm going to do 1-inch strips. All right, so I can take some old fabric, cut it up. You know, you could also like take old sheets if you wanted to, old blankets, old jeans, whatever. All right. Yes, there's also a method using a toothbrush handle, which is not crocheting. Yeah, there is. There are so many different tutorials. So this one is not necessarily on how to crochet, although I'll show you a few steps, but it's more on just inspiring you to do something with your stash. If you have an overload of scraps that you're just like, I don't even know what to do with all these, think about maybe cutting them up into 1-inch strips. Now, one of my favorite tools to use to do that is the Stripology ruler. Okay, have you ever seen these? There's several brands that have them. I don't have one open right now. I'm going to use the one that I have open, which is the Shape Cut Plus. Now, the nice thing about these rulers is that they have slots, all right, that go through. And you will see that it's labeled 1, 2, 3. So at that point, it's 1 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. So instead of just cutting 1-inch strips one by one, the nice thing about having something like this is that I can line it up along my edge over here and then place my horizontal line on the fold of my fabric. I'm going to first go to slot number 1 and just fit it in there. Then I go to slot number 2, then number 3. Do you see how much faster this is? 4, 5. And I'm not having to lift anything up. It all stays under there. 6, 7. And I could do the whole way across. All right. That is one of the reasons why I love that ruler. Take a look at how nice all of those strips are. Okay. So the next thing I want to share with you is how do we combine strips so that it's one long continuous strip, because we got to make it into, you know, our little yarn ball here, right? So I'm going to show you a quick way to do that. First of all, there's actually 2 ways I could show you. The first way is you could put one on top of the other. Let me bring this back down. Just like this, and you could just sew straight across and just create like a chain effect, right? So if you wanted just to do it at your sewing machine, this is what you could do. Okay, again, I'm just putting it on top. I'm not trying to do right sides together, anything like that. I just do that straight across, and I do another one. I put it here, and I go another one, and I just lay them right on top of each other and continue piecing or stitching that way. That is if you were at a sewing machine, all right? But if you are not at a sewing machine, and especially if you want to make this into something that you do just in front of the television set or on a long car ride or something, then I'm going to show you how do you connect these strips without having a sewing machine. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to place 2 of them on top of each other. Okay, 1, 2. And then I'm going to just fold this over and take a pair of scissors and just cut so that there's a little hole right there. See that? That's it. Then whichever piece is on top, I will take and pull it underneath and pull it through my hole. And there you go. So now I have this one. I'm going to lay my next piece on top like that, fold it over at the end, just do a little snip right there so it's created a little hole in both of them. I'll take that top piece, bring it down underneath and through both holes. Whoops. Okay, just like that. And it's creating a little bit of a knot, but that's okay. Don't let that scare you away, because that's this is all part of how scrappy this is. I'll do it one more time. Again, I'm taking my next piece. I'm going to lay it on top. See that? Fold it over. Do a little slit cut. Take that top piece, take the end of it, bring it underneath, and pull it through. That's as easy as it is, you guys. So simple. So now what I can do is I can add to this. So if I have this piece, this is coming off of my ball, and I want to add this on. Again, all I do is I'm just putting one on top of the other, folding it over, cutting a slit. Okay. And then I will take that top piece that I'm adding onto it and bring the rest of it up through. Okay, this is going to be a long one. So you're going to do this after every few. All right. There we go. All right. Isn't that easy? So simple. And then we're just going to do this around and around. Now, this is something that is so mindless. Like I said, you could do this just in the car, in front of the television, put on a good movie, continue adding to your ball if you want to. Some people will say, well, how big will this make? I don't know. I will just go as long as I can. And if I need to add on more strips, I'll just add on more strips. And that was a really quick way to do it. Does anyone have any questions on how to actually piece this all together as one? Let me know. So again, there's two ways. You can either sew it all together, but if you don't want to have to deal with it at a machine, just do it this way. All right. Okay. So next step, I'm ready to crochet. Before I do though, let's talk about some other alternatives. If you didn't want to do the crochet method, another thing you could do is, now that you have one big long strip, you could, these are 1-inch strips, Roxanne, but you can do them as wide as you want. Okay. If you didn't want to crochet, you could take like rope, right? Clothesline, and just wrap it around. And then you could either glue it into a circle. You could do a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine and sew that around if you wanted to. Lots of different ways to do that. So you would just, again, take your pieces, just wrap around the clothesline. Do it that way. That would be way number 2 to get kind of a similar look. It's not going to be exact, but it's going to have that similar scrappy feel, right? The third way you could do it, and someone mentioned it earlier, was you could braid. So you could make like 3 of these yarn balls, take like, just like, remember how, you know, we used to braid our hair like this, the easy braid, right? My poor daughters, their mom never could braid other than a simple braid. They had friends who had all these fancy braids. I didn't know how to do those, but I could do a simple braid, right, in my hair. And so you're just going to braid 3 of them, one over the other. So you could take one big binding clip, you know, like the binding clips that you would find at like Staples, an office supply store, right? And you could clip all 3 together and then just start doing that. Okay, that's going to give you a really fun look too. So there's that option. All right. Yeah, you could loom it. Sure, Betty Joe. I mean, anything that you use regular yarn on, you could do this. So let me just, trust me, I am not a crocheter. So I don't even know what the names are called. Please, somebody don't call me on it if I say the wrong name. No, it's fine. You can call me on it. But I'm going to take my P hook, crochet hook. It's like a 11.5 millimeter hook. It's P. Okay. I've seen it done with 10, which is N. Okay. Again, I'm not a master crocheter, but I do know how to do a few basics. So let me do a quick little slip knot here first. And again, this tutorial is not necessarily about how to crochet. Go to YouTube if you're like, what is she even talking about? I did a slip knot at the beginning, and I'm just going to put this in here. Okay. The first thing I have to do, yeah, YouTube is a super place to learn how to crochet. Absolutely. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do though, is I'm going to make my slip knot up close to here. I'm not going to make it too tight. I'm going to make it just right. And I'm going to do, this is called yarn over. Yarn over is when you bring it up and around. You're not going forward. You're bringing the yarn back behind the crochet hook and bring it through. So what I'm doing right now is I'm laying the foundation for this rug. This is called chaining. Am I right, ladies? This is called chaining. It's very simple. Okay, all I'm doing, I wrap the yarn around the back, pull it through the hole, wrap it around the back, pull it through the hole, wrap it around the back, pull it through that loop, whatever you want to call it. This is called chaining. However long you make your chain, let's get that through. However long you make your chain is how long your item will be. So if I wanted to make a rug, I might make like 50 of these chains. I'll tell you what, you start getting the hang of this, you feel like you are like on top of the world. It is so mindless and so relaxing. Now, it's a little tricky because you're not dealing with yarn, right? We're dealing with something a little bit bulkier, a little more awkward, if you will, but it's actually really, really simple to do. So I've lost track of how many I've done, but it doesn't really matter for this, okay? So you just continue to do that for as long as you have your piece. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to do something that they call single crochet. All right. I'm going to show you a few, but if you want to really learn more, just Google single crochet. Okay. Single crochet is where I'm going to go into the first hole that I made and I grab my piece of, I'm going to call it yarn for lack of a better term. And then I bring my yarn around the back and then I pull through both of them. Okay, I have two loops on there. Okay, so next one, I put it through the hole, grab it, and then go through that. Okay, and I continue this process. Oops. It actually gets a little bit easier about row 3 because your holes are much more defined. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to keep going for a minute and I'm going to answer questions. Talk about multitasking, right? But let me see if I can answer some questions while I do this. Yeah, for those of you who are real experts at this thing, you're going to love this project. Yes, I've seen also where people will use their fingers to be able to crochet. And like I said, lots of tutorials out there on how to do that. But this really is so, so enjoyable. Okay, what other questions? Annette, I need to come to your house and you teach me all your ways of crocheting, my friend. She says she loves it. It's easy and relaxing. And it really is. And if all I had to do was do a single crochet for the rest of my life, I would die a happy woman. Those of you who do like all sorts of like counting and all of that, I just don't know how you do it, but I'm amazed. I'm amazed. Okay, so I've gotten to the end. Let me pull it through. Now, for those of you who are familiar with how this works, you know that you're going to do one more. You get to the end, you're going to do one more loop off of it. Okay, and then you turn it around. All right. Okay, then we're going to turn it around and we're going to go back and I'm going into the hole. You guys, this actually is really fun. And if I wasn't doing it on camera right now, it'd be even more fun. Well, not more fun, more relaxing probably. I'm so nervous that I'm gonna mess up here. But so far, I'm getting there. All right. Now, any kind of crochet is going to work. Maybe some of you are fancier than a single crochet, right? And you're like, well, could I do a half chain crochet, whatever you guys call it? Yeah, you could do that. But you can see that it's starting to form. Pretty cool, right? So it really is a lot of fun. Give it a try. Don't be scared. If you're thinking, you know what, I've never crocheted before, but I got a lot of scraps and I would like to do something with them. I don't know, give it a try. You might surprise yourself. I think, oh my goodness, this is so fun. It's actually quite addicting. I know you guys don't want to watch me do this all day, but I'm just like so mesmerized right now by how it's coming together. And then I'm going to come through here. Okay. And then I go back. So you can see it starting to form. Now it's a little ski-wampus, but that's part of the charm, right? It's part of the charm. And as you can imagine, it's going to grow and grow, and it's actually going to be pretty darn cute. Can you imagine it as a basket? So I'm going to have fun with this. Jen says that she's seeing placemats in her future. Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Table runner, all the things. If you want to get more into some, like whether it be bags, baskets, round items, look it all up on YouTube. You'll be amazed. There's so many cool things out there that you can do with it. So I hope you learned something new with something you could do with your stash. That's not necessarily sewing. Sometimes it's fun to try something different, right? So give it a try, give it a whirl. If you do, I want to see pictures. I'd love to see your work out there. Even if you just get started, I'd love to see your work. Let me show you real quickly those pictures again as inspiration. You can see that was all one color. This one, they use lots of different colors. I think that's my favorite one. I love that. You can see up close how cool that is. Love that one. And there you go. All right. What do you guys think? Do you think you'd give it a whirl? Do you think you'd give it a try? Or maybe you know someone who really loves crochet and has lots of fabric. Tag them. Say, hey, so-and-so, you got to check this out. Wouldn't this be fun? Teach me your ways. Right? So I just think, life is too short to not try something new. Why not? I love it all. Patricia says she's willing to try. That's all it takes. Patricia wants to try. That's awesome. Yeah, Patty says knit fabric strips are much easier to work with. Oh, absolutely. Knit fabric strips are easy. In fact, that would be a fun way to repurpose like old t-shirts or something like that, is to cut those up into strips. Now with an old t-shirt, most of you probably know this, but if you cut it into strips, you can actually pull on it and it curls up. Right? So you pull on the knit, it curls up, it almost becomes like a coil, if you will. And then you're able to crochet that really easily. So it's kind of fun. Yes, Kris, I've seen that too. Let's see. My mother-in-law used to make beach bags out of strips of shopping bags. Totally. And you know what? Those babies are strong, aren't they, Kris? Like those do not come apart. They are strong as strong can be, for sure. Um, Connie's gonna do this, seeing a rug at her kitchen sink. Awesome. I love that. Yeah, so let's see your skeins. Let's see your skeins of fabric yarn. All right. Whew. I have a really cool announcement to make now. So we've done theme number 1 and theme number 2, and it's not quite time for theme number 3. Well, yes, you know what? I'm going to do theme number 3. I'm going to do theme number 3, and then we're going to share my special guest here. So what is theme number 3? Here we go. Okay, theme number 3. Here we go. 25% off of Stripology Squared Ruler, guys. If you would like a ruler that makes cutting your stash so much easier, you'll find it on our website, 25% off. I will tell you, though, there is a little bit of a surcharge on shipping because it's a very odd item to ship. So there's a bit of a surcharge. However, even with the surcharge on shipping, with your 25% off, you're still going to get it for less than what the regular price is. So that's why we ended up doing the 25% off, was to cover that a little bit. So definitely get on it. Whether you do this or you're just like, you know what, I want to make life a little bit easier by cutting up strips. That's the perfect way to go, right? So a great deal. Susan says, love that ruler. It's my favorite. Same with Alice is loving her Stripology ruler. Teresa, Kris, you're killing me. That's my job, my friend. Love you, Teresa. Yeah, too many fun themes. Great deal. Thank you, Debbie. So